In this video we're going to talk about drawing tree diagrams. Now tree diagrams are of course a representation of the structure of a sentence. They're called tree diagrams because if you turn them upside down they look a little bit like trees, and because of that we also use tree talk when we talk about the bits that make up a tree diagram. So we talk about nodes and branches. Yeah, so the letters here represent the constituents, and in the tree we say they're nodes of the tree. And the lines between the constituents, between the nodes, we call branches. And as you can see here, you can have, going down from a node, you can have one branch to another node, such as from E to I. Yeah, or you can have so you would have that, say, with a noun phrase with just a proper noun in it or just a pronoun in it. Yeah, and you can have constituents which nodes which have two branches going down. So you've got that for H and for C and for A, and you can have nodes with three branches going down, like B, yeah, going down to D, E, and F. There are a few things that you have to be careful about when you're drawing trees. So all nodes have to be connected to at least one other node by a branch. So this drawing that you see here is just not possible because node C is not attached to the rest of the tree. Now remember that this is actually the representation of the structure of a sentence. So E, F, G, H and I would be the lexical constituents, yeah, the word categories. And of course they're grouped together into phrases and larger phrases, and ultimately they make up the sentence. Yeah. So if you have a node that's not attached to the rest of the tree, you're saying there's a bit in the sentence but it's not part of the structure of the sentence, and of course that wouldn't make any sense. So that's why you don't get this. Another thing that's not possible is this: you can't have branches that cross. And that's just something about language, is that words and phrases that go together, yeah, are next to each other. There's nothing in between, yeah? Nothing from a different constituent interrupting a constituent. So that's why you don't get this structure. And the third thing that you have to be careful about, and that you never get, is this: yeah, you never have nodes with more than one branch going up. You can have more than one branch going down from a node, but not up from a node. So here from E you've got a branch going to B and a branch going to C, and that's not possible. And when you think about that, that makes sense, because imagine E could be a lexical constituent, yeah, so then it would be either the head of B or the head of C, but it couldn't be the head of both. Or it's a phrase, yeah, a phrasal constituent, but then it would be inside another constituent. So it would be inside B, yeah, with D as the head, or inside C with F as the head. Yeah, it can't be part of two different constituents. So those are some rules about how trees are constructed. But how do you go about actually drawing a tree for an individual sentence? Well, there are some steps that you can take to work out the structure of the sentence, and I would highly recommend that that when you do an analysis of a sentence and you want to draw the tree, you actually do these steps. And the first steps would be to work out the subject using the subject test, yeah, who, what, verb, rest of sentence, and work out the VP using the do-so test. Remember that, as you say sentence, and I did so too, what did I do? And the answer to the question is your VP. Now the reason for doing that is that gives you your top level. Yeah, so the general rule for sentences is that a sentence consists of a noun phrase, subject, that may be an auxiliary, and a verb phrase. And you then already know what ultimately your tree is going to look like. You then of course have to work out the structure inside the noun phrase subject and inside the verb phrase, and to do that you need to do some more steps. And you need to assign the word categories. Yeah, because they're the lexical categories. They're going to be the heads of your phrases. Once you've got your word categories worked out, then you work out the phrases inside your subject noun phrase and the verb phrase using the tests for constituents. Yeah, the tests are replacing with a proform, so a pronoun for noun phrases, there and then for prepositional phrases. You can use movement, you can use the conjunction test, and you can think about distribution. So with prepositional phrases you can think, well, a preposition has to occur with a prepositional phrase, or more usually a noun phrase, to form a prepositional phrase. Yeah. Now, because of the way English is, we say English is a right branching language, and that means that you see more structure on the right hand side. The deeper structure goes to the right hand side, and so it's a good idea to work out the phrases starting at the right, working to the left. Okay, let's make this a bit more concrete and try a sentence. The small girl became tired rather quickly. Okay, so your first step is the subject and the VP. So for the subject, you do the subject test. Who or what became tired rather quickly? Answer, the small girl. So the small girl is going to be your subject. And she became tired rather quickly, and I did so too. What did I do? And the answer is became tired rather quickly. So that's your VP. So now already we know that the top of the tree, is going to be a sentence going to the subject noun phrase, and that will have branches going down to ultimately, there may be other constituents, but ultimately it's going to be the small girl. Yeah, and from the VP you will have branches going down via other constituents, but down to became tired rather quickly. Okay, now we can't draw that yet, but we keep that in mind for the end of the tree. So then the next step is to assign the word categories. Okay, the is a determiner, small is an adjective, very small you could say, girl is a noun, became is the verb, tired is another adjective. Remember, you could put very in front of it. She became very tired. Rather is a degree adverb, and quickly is another adverb. Here you've got quick with ly. Okay, so that's our word categories, our lexical constituents, and we know then that we're going to have 2 adverb phrases and 2 adjective phrases, a verb phrase and a noun phrase, because determiners are the only ones that are not the heads of their own phrases. Determiners go inside the noun phrase, and of course we already know that the noun phrase is the subject noun phrase, the small girl. Okay, so now we have to work out all the phrases inside the noun phrase and the verb phrase, and we use these tests. Now we're going to do that from the right to the left, so let's have a look. Well, we've got the adverb quickly, and the next word along is rather. Now if we try to move quickly by itself, that doesn't work. You can't say quickly the small girl became tired rather. But what you can do is say rather quickly the small girl became tired. So you can move that whole unit rather quickly as one unit, and that shows that it's a constituent. And of course, if you think about what degree adverbs do, they give a degree of some sort of property. So here it's a degree of quickness, and so they modify the head quickly. This rather modifies the head quickly, and so there is an overall adverb phrase, rather quickly. Of course, rather is also an adverb, so the head of its own adverb phrase, but there's no other word modifying rather, so that forms an adverb phrase all by itself. That adverb phrase modifies quickly. So there we go. We've got an adverb phrase, the head is the adverb quickly, and there's also an adverb phrase inside that adverb phrase which modifies quickly. Now the next word along is tired. Yeah, and so tired is an adjective, so we know it's going to be the head of an adjective phrase. Now the word next to that is a verb, became, so that's going to be the head of the verb phrase. So there's no other word that goes with the adjective. Now, what did the girl become? Well, she became tired. She didn't become tired. You know, you can't say, what did the girl become? Tired rather quickly. No, you just say, what did she become rather quickly? And the answer is tired. Yeah, so the small girl became tired. The tired girl. Yeah, so tired is a constituent by itself. So we put in the adjective phrase. Yeah. Okay, now the next word is the verb became. Now that's going to be the head of the verb phrase. And we already know what the verb phrase is. It is became tired rather quickly. So we can put it in. Now what we have is the head verb. And then tired tells you what she became. And rather quickly tells you, you know, that it was in a very limited time span that happened. Yeah, that her becoming tired happened rather quickly. Yeah, so you can see that rather quickly tells you about the becoming, not about the tiredness by itself. Okay, then we move to the noun phrase, and we've got a noun, yeah, which we know is going to be the head of the noun phrase. The next word is the adjective. Now, adjective needs to be the head of an adjective phrase. Yeah, what is it? Well, the next word is the determinant, so that's going to go in the noun phrase. And that means that there's no constituent there that combines with the adjective to form an adjective phrase, so it's going to form an adjective phrase all by itself. Yeah, you could combine it with it. You could do the conjunction test and say the small and very shy girl or something like that. Yeah, but you have small and very shy, two adjective phrases. You can conjoin them. Yeah. Now we already know that the small girl is the subject noun phrase, so we can just draw it in. There you go. And then of course we've got a noun phrase and a verb phrase, and we already know that that's going to be the whole sentence. Yeah, so by working from right to left, we have worked out the overall structure of the sentence. Now, just to finish with, there are some, really try and apply the steps systematically. Don't guess the structure. Yeah, it's very tempting when you see a determiner and a noun to think, there's the noun phrase. But in some sentences it may be, in some sentences it's not. So don't guess the structure. Go through the steps systematically and use the tests to determine what constituent you're dealing with.